I'm Jeanne Fiorini. Thanks for being here at the Tarot Tips. I want to thank all the people who have joined the Tarot Tips over the recent summer months. We have, I think we're at close to 800 members worldwide, so that's really fantastic. I appreciate everybody being on board. I also appreciate the notes of support that you're finding these videos to be accessible, easy to understand, and give you tips and tools for how to use your cards more effectively for yourself and your friends. What we're going to talk about today comes from a subscriber. A subscriber asked that we address how to look at some work issues. But I also would like to say at the beginning of this video that the next 4 videos after this one will be looking at the major arcana's 4 major cards of change. We're going to be looking at, in particular, in 4 different videos, the Wheel card, the Death card, the Tower card, and the Judgment card. Very powerful cards of change, but different in their nature. So maybe it's because as I'm filming this particular video, it's September in the Northeast, and that's probably the month here where we notice the biggest change between the beginning of the month and the end of the month, where it can be so nice and warm and summer-like in the beginning of September, but fall is definitely with us by the end of the month. So I've been thinking about change. I think probably a lot of people are experiencing change, and so we're going to talk about the Tarot's 4 most important cards of change over the next 4 videos. But today's video is about work issues. How do we address them? And it gives me a good opportunity to say again that these kinds of issues, how do I ask a question? What is the most simple layout to use with this specific area of concern that I have, whether it's work issues, relationship issues, life process issues, whatever it is, health issues, to check out my Tarot Spreads and Layouts book. The book is designed not by the kind of layout, but by the kind of question. So you can have not only a specific layout to use or method to use with a certain area of questioning, but also the feedback I've gotten around the book is that students really appreciate. I provide a lot of possible questions around each area of concern. So for instance, today we're going to talk about work issues. And it is true that one of the hardest parts about reading cards effectively is to come up with the right question. Because if you don't have the right question, not the right question, but a specific enough question to what you really want to know, you're not going to be able to get answers, responses from the cards that are going to address what you really want to know. So the first tip here is to get clear on, what do I really want to know about work? So, you can go in a lot of different directions here. Is your question about how do I make more money? Is your question about how should I be preparing for retirement? Is your question what kind of work would be best suited for my own personal unique skills and abilities? Is the question, how do I climb the ladder more quickly? Let me see, I have a couple of other potential ones here. What can help me be more creative in the job that I have? Is the question, should I keep the job that I have, or should I be thinking about getting a different kind of a job? So you can see that to just ask the cards, what do I need to know about my job, and then draw a few cards, isn't going to be as effective a way to use your deck as it would be to say to yourself before you even draw cards, what is it I really want to know? And then go to your cards. So get clear about, are you thinking about making a change? Are you thinking about doing better, let's say, in the job or the work that you already have? If things are going well for you, you can always ask, what can help me continue being successful in my work? What best qualities of myself do I bring to my work? We will go to the tarot table and just draw a couple of examples, but I think you get the message. A very clear question is going to give you the most clear answer. So I'm a big fan of getting your question clear in your mind before you go to your tarot cards. Having said that, let's go see what's on the table today, and we'll ask a couple of general questions. Okay, I think we'll leave the pile out like this and just, quickly draw a few cards for some sample kinds of questions. Keeping this notion in mind that the kind of question you ask is going to determine the kind of response that you get. So being very careful, clear, and as precise as you can about what your question is. So let's just say someone wants to know what kind of job or what kind of work would be best suited for their unique skills and abilities. We'll just draw out any two. I'll pick that one and that one. Okay, Three of Swords, Emperor. There aren't going to be any right answers here. I'm just going to toss out, since these are generic kinds of questions and they're not really connected to a real person in the world, which is always going to give a reading more juice, more vitality. I'm just going to throw out some random potential possible interpretations here. If the question with these two cards was what kind of work is best suited to my skills and abilities, I would say crisis management here. I would say giving structure and order and a real plan for people who are in some sort of distress, some sort of either emotional, physical, this could be somebody who works for the Coast Guard, this could be somebody who works in FEMA, this could be somebody who works at a women's crisis hotline, this could be an ER kind of person, this could be, I would say, even a heart surgeon. Emperor with that Three of Swords, okay? That's just one example. We'll put those in and see what else we get. So that's going to be a very different tone to, let's ask the question, let's say I want to keep my job, maybe I like the benefits, but I'm not really satisfied. So let's say maybe the question is, how do I improve my position within the job that I already have? Make it more satisfying. We'll pick this one and this one. There's that Emperor card again. Page of Swords and Emperor. Interesting to see another sword with this Emperor card. So again, just a random, off the top of my head kind of interpretation here. I would say, okay, go to your boss, go to your superior, your manager, whoever it is, and toss around some ideas. Let them know that you'd like to improve, you'd like to take on more responsibility, you'd like different kinds of tasks, whatever it is. Page of Swords is put the idea out on the table to somebody who can help you make a difference there. So you see how that's a real different answer or reply to your question than what are my skills and abilities and how can I best use them at my work. Let's ask the question, and this is probably a question that a lot of people might have right now. Is it in my best interest to be thinking about changing my job right now? Is now a good time to be thinking about really radically shifting what I do for work in the world? Let's see. We'll get this one, and we'll take that other one right in the middle. This one first, and then this one. Queen of Swords and the Devil. It is, I would look at that and say it is time to speak up. I think it is time to, Queen of Swords is always going to say what she needs. Another sword card there in that first draw, Queen of Swords. It's time to say what you mean and mean what you say. It's time to stand up for yourself in the face of the devil. And the devil in the tarot isn't about, the theological devil. It's really about anything that takes away our personal power. Anything that we feel limits us in any way. And I would look at that combination and say that in this case, the devil might be about the shoulds. oh, I should have a retirement plan, or I should have a 401k, or I should have health insurance, or I should want to have, like, quote, a real job, or whatever the shoulds are for this Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is going to stand in there and say, I'm going to carve my own path. You guys can do what you want, but I'm not going to be tied to the material world concerns. I'm going to live up to my personal ideals. Okay, we could talk another 10 minutes about those two cards, but that's just off the top of my head. Let's just pull one card in closing here, just for a general way to approach work questions, but still with a specific question. We could say, what is the one thing I need to be paying attention to in order to be satisfied in my work? So these kinds of questions that I'm throwing out are the kinds of sample questions that are concretized and written down in my Tarot Spreads and Layouts book. So if you haven't taken a look at that or investigated that, you might just want to check it out. So the final question here would be, what do I need to pay attention to make my work more satisfying? We'll go way down here. Ace of Cups. Sometimes the tarot answers a question in the way that we ask it. Ace of Cups is about personal satisfaction. It's about listening to the wants and needs of your heart. So the Ace of Cups there would say, what feels fulfilling for you? You have to really listen to what your heart is saying about your work. Work is, traditionally associated with pentacles and concrete needs, not just the money, but a sense of belonging and how security works in your life and how grounded and connected work might make you feel. We don't get a pentacle card here, we get a cup card. So it really encourages us with this sample question to say, if I'm looking for satisfaction in my work, it's going to have to come from me in terms of recognizing what's important to me and then following through with that notion. Okay, it's not about principle, it's not about shoulds, it's about what makes me feel good. So Ace of Cups sort of puts the onus back on the querent to say, well, if you want to be satisfied in your work, you have to follow through or follow up on things that make you happy. So I hope that gives you a little framework for some work questions. In the next 4 videos, we will be looking at the Tarot's Major Arcana cards of change. So thank you very much. I will be in touch. Happy taroting.